What's up, guys? Mr. Schaefer back with you today. We got our survivors of the Holocaust, the true stories of these six extraordinary children. So far, we've seen Heinz's story, um, we've seen Trudy's story, we've seen Ruth's story. Today, we're going to look at Martin's. All right. Um, so let's get going. Here's Martin right here. Here's the picture they got of it. See the swastika up there. I love the graphics in this. I know this has not been the best. It's very hard to show these online, guys, so I apologize for that. But I'll do my best to kind of do it. And you can always pause it to look at it, to see the pictures close up. But I wish you could really get your hands on them. So when we're done, hopefully you're still getting the point of this, or at least witnessing these true stories, right? These are true real life stories. All right, here we go. In 1938, when I was 8 years old, there occurred what has become to known as pollination. Pollination. I don't know how to say this word, I'll be honest with you. There's the word right there. Pollination. Pollination? I'm guessing it has to do something with taking Jews away, right? Like we've seen in every one of these. Early in the morning, we were all sleeping in our beds in our home in Germany. The Nazis entered. We were going to be taken away. We were put on board a train. We came to realize that the passengers were all Polish Jews. We were luckier than some. We had been taken as an entire family. So, right, Pollination is Polish Jews. That's who they are. So, Jewish people that were from Poland. Some of the families had been separated. They didn't know how or whether they would ever see one another again. To make matters worse, there were a lot of people of all ages. There were babies. There were old people. People who were ill. Some had been even taken out of hospital beds. We traveled for the rest of the day, and after it got dark, the train stopped and we were told to get off. Outside the station, there were 2 rows of SS men. And those are the soldiers. We were marched off, and the rumor went around that we were being taken to some remote place. Bang! Or we would all be shot. So imagine knowing that, you're taken by someone, put on a train, shipped over, and then marched. I saw people collapse from the exhaustion, and I was left in no doubt what the brutality of these SS men. We marched for hours, and then we were stopped at a railway line and were told that the SS men were not coming any farther. It seems likely that this was in fact the Polish frontier. The SS men wouldn't want to cross that at a particular time. That could have provoked an international incident. We were told that we would have to go on marching between the rails. All right, so now I get, you see what's happening here. They took them. Here's this map. They're taking them and pushing them all back into Poland. So they're trying to make them go from Germany, kicking them out, and making them going back to their home country. But the soldiers couldn't go any further because they hadn't occupied there yet, right? They would have started the war, even though it would start soon, but no, it would have started a lot sooner. On either side, there were ditches, and anybody who fell risked injury, not only from the fall, but also from being trampled. Some hours later, armed police and soldiers came along. Polish soldiers, that is, and of course, they had known nothing of our coming. The Polish authorities did try to force some people back into Germany. The German authorities were ready for that, and Polish attempts to send people back to Germany failed. But we managed to get to Krakow in Poland, where we had some relatives. And we arrived at their doorstep. We found some relatives to go. About that time when we went to Poland, Britain allowed some Jewish children to be brought over from Europe in what became known as the Kinder Transport. My sister and I were very lucky to become among the few children to be rescued from Poland. We would have had to die with the rest of our family if we wouldn't have been rescued. We went into foster parents in the country in England. In the autumn of 1940, the so-called Blitz began. Coventry was one of the most severely bombed cities. We had 17 raids when a few bombs were dropped on the city. And then one night, we had a very big raid. Yeah, so they got all the English people decided, or Great Britain decided that they would take these Poland kids. They didn't take the other family members. They just took the kids. And where they lived, look what happened to them. They got bombed and bombed and bombed. There's a dog down there. The Home Office advice was to that if you did not have an air raid shelter, the safest part of your house was under the stairs. Under our stairs, we had a small pantry, so we all crowded into that, my sister and I, and our foster parents, and the dog. The dog was vicious. He bit quite a few people. We tried to keep our distance. But whenever a bomb came very near, the dog growled, and we were really afraid. All of us. We heard a very loud hissing sound, and it was obvious that the bomb was coming near. It landed just a few doors down. Imagine being in a house knowing that bombs were flying over our heads. The next morning when we emerged, our house had lost its doors and its windows and part of the roof. It's amazing that there were many small air raids, and generally speaking, people took them in stride. They just kept bombing them and kept bombing them. But during those big air raids, it certainly felt very much afraid. And I don't think very many people, if they are truthful, could say otherwise. There's Martin right there. And I don't think very many, it says here at the bottom, it says both Martin and his sister survived the bombings in Coventry and settled well into their new lives in England. So they did. They had to leave their whole family behind to get out. The common theme we're seeing, right? They separated families, and people had to sacrifice and do lots of things that they wouldn't normally do to get through this war. It's crazy stuff. I'm gonna show you the back here, just so I can show you the picture. There's Martin, real life Martin, right there. It says Martin's mother and sister also survived the war. None of Martin's relatives in Poland were so fortunate. 22 of them in total were rounded up and shot by the Nazis. Martin went on to become an eminent scientist and a university lecturer. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. And again, you can tell this is people talking, right? These words are not like an author making stuff up. These are these people's words. Like when they were sitting down and interviewed, this is their words. So it's pretty cool. Sad, but very interesting, right? All right. We have Suzanne's story to go and Eric's story to go. So we'll see those soon. All right. I'll see you next time.